engines online, sensors online, weapons online, all systems nominal.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Timothy Adon, composer by day, gamer by night. And it has certainly been a very long time since I put up a video, and I deeply apologize for that. The reason for my absence is I started taking classes again at the community college that I took classes at a while ago. And I'm going there to finish the music degree that I started such a long time ago and never finished. So, in today's episode, I am going to talk about advertising yourself and getting your name out into the world. There are several ways that you can begin advertising yourself, and they're very simple. It's not all that difficult. It's not going to involve going to third-party companies that do advertising for you. This is all something that you can do yourself. And the first part is not internet related, although it can be if you use Facebook. And that's to tell all of your friends and family, all right? Tell your friends and family. And I know that just sounds odd, but you never know where your first job is going to come from. You never know. Tell your friends and family. If you do work regularly, like if you're always writing music or drawing pictures or whatever, don't be afraid to show off. Don't be afraid to show off, because otherwise people aren't going to know what it is that you do. Somebody somewhere is going to want something that you're doing. It's just a matter of figuring out who that somebody is going to be and trying to get your name to them as efficient a manner as possible. So, the other thing, social networking sites. This includes Facebook, Google+, and things like LinkedIn, which are all really good places to start advertising yourself. Some of them even have very decent ways of being able to put your work onto those websites in a manner that people can listen to. I have put up 1 or 2 videos on my Facebook page that people can look at and listen to. And I've used Facebook as a means to post links to all of my work. Whenever I finish working on something, I'll post it on YouTube, I'll post it on SoundCloud, and then I'll post the links to both of those websites on my front page for everybody to be able to see. And LinkedIn is also really good because that is a professional-based website where people will kind of search out for the types of workers they are looking for. But definitely don't discount Facebook from your list of places to advertise yourself. Just, go ahead and throw your name onto Facebook and start uploading your material. So another good way to get your name out there is to make business cards. I use Vistaprint, but there are several other websites out there where you can make business cards. And they're cool because you can personalize them. You can put as much or as little information on them as you want, preferably more if you really want somebody to talk to you. And it is a really good way to leave an impression because you're not scribbling your name and number on a random piece of paper that somebody's going to lose. You're handing them a legit business card that shows that you care and makes you seem more professional. So definitely think about getting yourself business cards. And it's not like it's all that expensive. I mean, it costed me like almost $20 to get 250 business cards with my cool symbol on it. And the other thing that you can do to get your name out there is YouTube videos. And this is also pretty simple because the only third party involved is the YouTube website. And it's really easy to use. It's not difficult. Most computers come with video making software. My computer comes with Windows Movie Maker. And so it's very easy to just go ahead and start throwing up videos onto YouTube that display your work. Another website you could use would be SoundCloud, and that is another really good place to display your work. If you do drawing, then a really good website to use would be DeviantArt. And then YouTube is also really good, YouTube and DeviantArt and SoundCloud, but mostly YouTube is a really good way to get involved in the industry itself, which is the next point I am going to make. This is something I haven't done all that much myself, is getting involved in the industry, like actively. And I'm not just talking getting jobs and finishing those jobs up and saying, yay, I got paid. It's more of the getting yourself noticed through sheer volume of activity. My adventures into this have been limited to my YouTube videos, but other things that you can do is start participating on various forums. This one is the Home Recording Forum, where people go to learn from each other and give help to the new guys. This is another really good medium to go in order to help get your name out there. Other things you can do: writing blogs, writing magazine articles. You know, if you were to go, you could definitely submit articles to put into various magazines. And if they say no, they say no. But if they say yes, then that is definitely a very good way to get involved in the industry. Other things you can do are write blogs. Again, it's kind of like YouTube, just mostly in text format. So all of these things are definitely really good ways to get your name out into the world, because it shows people that you care enough to go out of your way in order to continue talking about what it is that you enjoy. Another thing you can do is go to conventions. A really good example of that is that next month I am going to PAX East. And PAX East is a really good gaming central place for both tabletop games and computer games, console games, what have you. And the cool thing about that is that there are going to be lots of indie game developers there, as well as not indie game developers. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to go to enjoy myself, which is my primary purpose, but I'm also going to be bringing resumes, portfolios, and business cards. Those business cards that I told you to make earlier. And I'm going to be talking to all the indie developers, and then any of them that, you know, want any of my information, I'll have my information already. On top of that, there are going to be other composers there, people that have actually written music for video games. And they're going to be doing instructionals and panels and talks about the industry. And I'm going to be going to those, and I'm going to try and involve myself as much as I can. So those are all examples on how to get yourself into the industry. And that, you know, I know it seems a little scary, but if you can get over that hurdle and be willing to involve yourself in the thing that you love the most, then that is definitely a very good place to be and a good thing to do, because it'll do nothing but help you. The last thing I'm going to talk about is applying for jobs. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm on Kickstarter for this, and I will get to that in just a few moments. First, I need to talk about what it is you need to have when you are applying for a job. You need to have a cover letter, a resume, and a portfolio, or other example of your work. Now, first thing that you're going to always want to have is a resume. And this is kind of a pretty typical layout. You want to have your name, your address, city, state, blah, 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 phone number, email, your personal objective. So like my objective is to write music for movies and video games. Your professional experience. Make sure to put down all the professional experience that matters to what you're applying for. Relevant skills. If you're really good at something that marginally relates to what it is that you're applying for, you're going to want to put that here. And then education. I would put all education, but definitely write down what you focused on, like high school, college, whatever. If you focused on music in high school, write that down. If you focused on music in college, write that down if it's relevant. The next thing you are going to need is a cover letter. A cover letter needs to be written for each job you apply for. You are going to write a separate cover letter for every application. And the reason for this is because it needs to be personalized. If you have a cookie cutter cover letter, wow, say that 10 times fast. If you have a cookie cutter cover letter for every single job that you apply for, it's going to be noticeable. And so you want to try and tailor it to the job that you're applying for, but try not to make it sound like it is a copy and paste job, because some people will notice and they're not going to want to hire you if you didn't even try to appeal to their nature. So a cover letter, the format for a cover letter, same thing for the resume. You're going to want all your contact information on there. You're going to want the employer contact information on there if you have it. Then salutation. Then your first paragraph. is going to be why you are writing, the position you are applying for, and any mutual contacts you have, and anything else that fits along with the general information of the application. The middle paragraph is going to describe what you have to offer to the employer. Mention your qualifications, your skills, what you think you can do. If you have a prime example of something you can offer them, then make sure you point it out. So say in my case, if I was applying to be a composer for a specific company and I have happened to play one of their games, and there is a particular song that I'm fairly certain or know that I can improve upon, I will mention that. I can do this. Here is this example of something that would fit well in this game, etc., etc. And also, this is actually a fair point right here. Remember, you are interpreting your resume, not repeating it. So don't list off every single thing that you put on your resume. Just mention the things that are truly important. And then your final paragraph, conclude it. Thank the employer for considering you. Yes, thank them for considering you. Include information on how you will follow up, again, etc., etc. Closing, signature. And if you are emailing your cover letter, make sure that in the subject line, the subject that you put in there is something that a hiring manager or somebody else can easily recognize as an application. So that's a cover letter. Then you're going to want a portfolio. Usually you're going to want to try and tailor your portfolio to the job that you are applying for, but that entirely depends, because you also want to have a portfolio that shows all of the things that you can do. If your primary focus in your vocation is one form of art or one form of music, then your portfolio is probably going to be full of just that one form. But you also want to make sure you let companies know of any other skills that you have. So in my portfolio, I have a pretty wide range of different things, and this is my older portfolio. I definitely plan on updating this with all of the newer things that I can do, which includes science fiction tracks and other sound effects that I've been working on. So you want to tailor it towards the company, but you also want to have as many different things in there as possible so that you can show how much skill you have in your area. Now, where you put that portfolio also matters. In this particular case, my portfolio is on SoundCloud, and I've also got it on my website on the front page, which is approximately the same as this portfolio. If you are emailing your cover letter and resume, then you're going to want to put a link to your portfolio if you have an online portfolio, because that is significantly more preferable to having to download files from an email, because people don't want to do that. If you are in person, you're going to want to hand them a CD with your portfolio on it. Now, in this, you can do in multiple different fashions. Somebody told me that it's a good idea to make a miniature website and put it on the CD. I've never done that before, but it's not necessarily a bad idea. And that way, it's really easy to navigate, and it looks pretty professional. And if you're also a programmer, then you can program it to show random bits of work so that the person you are applying to doesn't need to go searching for it. That's not really necessary, but it's an extra step if you want to take it. If you don't feel like making a miniature website, you could easily just make sure that you have a README file, another copy of your resume on the disk, and then all of your various files, make sure that they are labeled and within various subdirectories so that they're very easy to find. So, you know, music with videos, music without videos, sound effects, and then make sure that each sound is appropriately labeled so that the person looking at them knows what they are instantly. And then within the README file, just put basic information, anything that they might need to know about some of your work, and potentially a link to your online portfolio. That way, if they don't feel like searching through files, they'll just simply have to click on that link and then they'll be taken to your portfolio. Once you have your portfolio all made up, you need to start applying for jobs. First and foremost, you're going to want to go onto the company's website or find the company that you want to apply for. So right here, I have a list of video game developers, mostly indie game developers. Most of these links are probably broken, but you should definitely try out some of them. When it comes to applying at a company, most of them are going to have a jobs section where they list any jobs that they are looking for actively. If the job that you want is there, apply for it immediately. You know, get your cover letter and resume and portfolio in order immediately and apply for it. Don't think, just do it, because who knows when that's going to happen again. Most places, in that particular instance, most places will have an apply now button or something similar, where you hit the button and then it starts asking for all your information and any files you want to upload. If the job that you are looking for is not there, sometimes you'll still be able to apply regardless and give them the information. Don't be afraid to do that. Your information is going to be on file for at least a little while, even if they don't hire you. If they don't have an apply now button, you need to start getting a little bit more creative. You're going to want to try and find an appropriate email address, preferably the one for the hiring manager if you can find one. And then you're going to want to write your cover letter in the email, attach your resume, and link to your portfolio. And then send it off. Don't be afraid to do it, even if they're not looking for a person like you. Apply anyways. Because if you don't apply, if you don't try, then you'll never know if they were going to hire you. The answer is, if you don't apply, the answer is already no. Whereas if you apply, no matter how small the chance is, you at least have a chance of success, and for them saying yes. Another thing to think about when applying for jobs is to be strategic with the timing. Well, Tim, what do you mean by that? I'm glad you asked. Being strategic with the timing means applying at the absolute perfect time, and the perfect time is right when they're looking for composers. I want to search forums, different websites, different articles, magazines, whatever, and look for the signs of where in the development cycle a certain video game is. Once a video game is announced, they're probably done with the concept stages and they're within the early programming steps. Once that happens, they are probably a few months out from starting to look for composers, or maybe they're already looking for composers. But it is around that time that you want to start applying, because they haven't actually found a composer yet, assuming they don't have an in-house composer. And they will be looking for them really soon. And so you want to try and apply right when they're looking. If you apply too early, you're probably going to get lost in the file somewhere. And if you apply too late, they probably already have somebody. So you want to apply right when they're looking, because then you maximize your chances of being one of the first handful of people that have applied and being one of the first applications that they look at. Indie game companies, it's a little harder. Usually indie game companies are made up of the people that are going to do the art and the programming, and at most they'll be looking for a composer and another artist, but maybe not even that. That brings me to the last thing I'm going to talk about, which is Kickstarter. You'll remember that when I started talking about applying, I started on this page. Now the reason for that is because, remember, the strategic applications. This is a great place to do strategic applications. All you have to do is search for what you are looking for. Voila! Find which ones interest you the most. Click on it. Click contact. Click contact me. Or even better, if they have a real website, go to their website and apply there. When you apply to people on Kickstarter, you need to be aware that almost every single company on here is an indie game company, which means that most of them, if not all of them, already have programmers, artists, and most likely even a composer. So your chances of getting a job here are pretty slim. However, I managed to get the one job that I got on Kickstarter. So it is not a bad place to try. And, it also means that you get to learn about all the cool things that are going on in your neck of the woods, what cool ideas are coming out, and then anything that really interests you, you apply for it. And then if they say no, they say no. It's the same kind of concept. You're never going to know if you don't try. Although, if you are still afraid of rejection, with Kickstarter it's a little easier because you can at least check all of the updates, information, website, about me pages and find out if they already have a composer on the project, or artist, or programmer, or whatever you're looking for. And that is the end of this video. I hope that you have found the facts in here useful, and I hope that I have given you enough information to go off and fight your fears of applying for jobs and that ever increasingly terrifying notion of dealing with other people. It may be a scary world, but if you buck up, don that armor, and steel yourself against the dragon that is the music industry, then you are sure to succeed. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to hear more, then please subscribe, leave a comment, or do whatever it is that people on YouTube do. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.
Shutdown sequence initiated. Self-destruct sequence initiated. All personnel, please evacuate the facility. This is not a drill. This is not a drill.